Hello students. So let us have our understanding on net present value. So what is NPV? Under discounting method of capital budgeting evaluation techniques, there are different concepts like net present value, profitability index, internal rate of return, and modified internal rate of return. For now, we are going to discuss a problem on NPV. So what is NPV? Converting future value into present through discounting method is actually called as net present value. Why we are discounting? Why we are converting from future to present? We know what is the value for future, but for now, that is for present, I need to know what is the value of the project. Based on that, I need to take a decision whether to go ahead with the project or not. Okay, so that is the reason of calculating this net present value. Let us understand this through this problem. So where we need to calculate NPV of two different projects and suggest which of the two projects should be accepted, assuming discounting rate at 10%. So among those two different projects, we need to select the right NPV, right project having greater NPV, okay? And discounting factor is also given here as 10%. There are also other certain data which is given for us to calculate the NPV. What are the data? They said as two different projects. See here, project X, project Y. Data which is given here as initial investment. Of course, we need initial investment. Okay, what is the initial investment which is done for first project? Similarly, for the second project, we need that. Okay, fine. That is for 40,000, and here is 60,000. Estimated life is also given here as 4 years, and here it is 5. Scrap value is here, it is 2,000 for the second project, that is 4,000. Okay, along with this, different cash inflows is also given here. 5 different years are here. For project X, there are different cash flows, and for project Y, again, there are different cash flows. Fine. And along with this, we are having a data of discounting factor for every year. Okay, for the first year, since it is given here as 10%, right? Discount rate at 10%. Okay, so how they calculated this? For first year, it is 0.909. See, for calculating the present value, PV is equal to, how to calculate this discounting factor. Formula is 1 divided by 1 plus R power 1. Okay, keep that in mind. 1 divided by 1 plus R power 1. What is this R? R is nothing but the discounting rate of interest. Okay, since here it is 10%. Okay, so since it is 10%, so where we can represent that as 0.10. 1 divided by 1 plus 0.10. Obviously, that is 1.10. Am I right? So 1.10 power 1, since it is for year 1, power 1, yes, the same. So 1.1. 1 divided by 1.1, you will be getting 0.909. Similarly, 1.1, when we put 1.1 power 2, we will be getting 0.826. Similarly, we need to do the other calculations for the rest of the years. Clear? Yes. So sometimes this discounting rate values will be given there in your question. Sometimes it is not given, where we need to solve in this way. Formula is 1 divided by 1 plus R power 1. Clear? Right? Next. Now, first we do for project X. So there are 4 different columns, like for the first column, years, different years are there, 5 different years. Okay, cash flows and discounting factor at 10%. So this is also given in our question. Now, what is our duty? To calculate NPV. For calculating NPV, where we need PV first. What is NPV? By adding up all the present values, we'll be getting the NPV. That is sum total. Okay, fine. So here, starting from now, present. That is why it is represented as 0, year 0. Next, all the different years for 5 different years is there in our question. And the last year it is mentioned as for the at the end of the project, scrap is there. See here, scrap value. If scrap value is not given there in your question, leave that. Since in this problem you are having scrap value, and that too at the end of the project. See, what is the scrap value? When a project comes to its end, okay, at that period, what will be the value of the particular project, particular asset? That we say that as scrap or salvage. Okay, so yes, the scrap value is 2000, fine. And why it is represented as 40,000 within the bracket? Since it is cash outflow. Okay, 40,000 is cash outflow. All the remaining are cash inflows. Clear? So next column is discounting factor at 10%. So just now I told you discounting factor at 10%. Since here it is feeded there, everything, all the data is given there. No worries. See, we are just applying all the thing. So for year 0, it is represented as 1. Yes, obviously, it is 1. Anything par 0 becomes 1. Okay, so for the first year 0 alone, it is 1. For the all the rest of the things, values is given there. Apply all different values. Okay, even this data is not given there in your question. Don't worry, you need to calculate. That is 1 divided by 1 plus r par 1. Or not r par 1. For the first year, r par 1. For the second year, par 2. Third year, par 3. So the same way you need to do. And present value. How to calculate present value? By adding cash flows into discounting factor. See here, 40 into 1, 40,000. 10,000 into 0.909. 20,000 into 0.826. This is the way of calculating. And what is this net present value? How to do that? See, add all the present values starting from year 1 to year 5 till scrap. Okay, 9,090 plus 16,520 plus all the data until 1,242. Add all these things. You'll get some value. Okay, and that should be from that value subtract this 40,000. Since it is outflow, all these things are inflow. 40,000 is outflow. Okay, so that is why it is represented within bracket. Okay, so where if you solve this, you will be getting 8,454 as your net present value for project X. Same thing do for project Y. Same do for project Y. Okay, so answer is 9,456. Obviously, which project will you select? Which NPV is higher? Both the projects are accepted since it denotes, positive values. So both the projects are accepted. Since higher NPV is for project Y, that is 9,456. So we'll go ahead with project Y. Okay. So what is our question? Which project should be accepted? Obviously project Y. Okay. Hope you all understand. Thank you.